In the last video, we saw our first SQL query, which is select star from moviesdb.movies. Star here means all the columns. Let's say you are just interested in title and industry column. You can do that by typing in the name of those columns separated by comma. And when you run this, it will show you only two columns. When you work in industry, you will see tables which will have 30-40 columns. So if you need only two columns, it is recommended you retrieve that much because that can help with the performance. The syntax here is you will write select, column names, then from, and then the name of the table. Now we are writing moviesdb because we have multiple databases, moviesdb, Sakila, Sys, World, etc. If you want to remove this and just write movies, what you need to do is one of the following options. You can do use moviesdb. If you do that, what this use clause will do is it will tell SQL that this is my default database. So whatever table I am referring to, I mean this particular database. Now, another way of doing this, if you don't want to use this, is you can say right click and set this as a default schema, and you will see that this becomes bold, which means it will now use this particular database as my default. But I want moviesdb as a default database, so you can right click and click on set as default schema, and in that case, when you do this, you can run this queries easily. You don't have to say moviesdb.movies. Now let's go back to our original query, which is select star, and you will notice that we are seeing two types of columns here. One is text column, which is title, industry, studio. The other is numerical columns, release year, IMDb, language ID, etc. Numeric means these are numbers. In this particular video, we are going to query our database using text query, which means let's say I want to get all the movies from Bollywood industry. You can use something called where clause. So you will say where industry is equal to Bollywood in double quotes. And when you run this, it is showing you only Bollywood movies now. See, only Bollywood movies, and in the bottom output panel, it will show you the last query's result statistics. So here it says it returned 18 rows and it took this much time to fetch that data. So that is the purpose of this bottom panel that you see below the results grid, right? So to understand the anatomy of this tool, there is an SQL query editor, there is a results grid, and there is this output panel. You can do the similar thing in regular Excel file by doing your regular data filter. So in Excel, if you go to data, and let's say if you type in filter, here I can set those filters, and I can say Bollywood, okay? And it will return me 18 of 39 records. See, total 18 records. And here also, if you count this, these will be total 18. Now, by the way, there is something called count. So if you want to return the count of Bollywood movies, you can say count star, and it will tell you the count. See, 18. So there is 18 Bollywood movies. How many Hollywood movies? So I'm here comparing what you do in Excel with SQL. So you're getting an idea. This is very similar. So in Excel, when I say filter by Hollywood and I see total 21 out of 39 records, I will do this here, Hollywood, and see 21. Hooray, correct? And you might have noticed that. So let's print all the columns. See, all Hollywood movies. Now you notice that here this is a case insensitive search. Means in the database my H is capital, but in my query I'm saying H small, and it still works because doesn't matter what is the case, it's gonna always work. Let's say you want to figure out how many unique industries are there in my database. For that, you can use this clause called distinct. Okay, so select distinct industry from movies. And when you run this, it will say Bollywood and Hollywood are unique industries in my database. After distinct, you need to specify the column for which you want to get unique values. The same thing you can see in Excel by the top filter. See, here the list that you're seeing is exactly the distinct query result. Now, let's say you're working in this company called IMDb. You might be aware about IMDb website, which is the movies website, okay? And this website has this advanced search option where you can search movies by their title, rating, and so on. I want to know all the Thor movies which are released so far. I can type in title Thor and I can search and I will see all those amazing Thor movies. Imagine you are working in IMDb as a database engineer or a data analyst. And when on the website some user is making this query, from website it will make a call to a backend. That backend could be written in Java, C++, Python, Kotlin, whatever that language is. And when in backend you know that user is querying all the movies which has Thor in the title somewhere, it will make an SQL query into a database and it will retrieve all these records. See, these are all the records which SQL query can retrieve. And the SQL query will look something like this. You will say, select star from movies, all the columns, where title is like Thor. And you will say percentage. Percentage means before Thor word there could be any string and after that there could be any string. In the title, if Thor appears somewhere in the string, give me those movies. And you will see that I get these 3 movies, okay? And this is called a wildcard search. Now, since all movies are starting from Thor, even if you don't give this initial percentage, it's still gonna work. Because this means all the movies that starts with Thor followed by any character, any number of time. Percentage means that. Now, let's say you want to see all the movies for Captain America. And if you search for America like this, you won't see any movie because usually Captain America movie starts with Captain and then America. So you can do something like this. See, now you are seeing all the Captain America movies. This is amazing, right? Like now you have been using IMDb website and now you're getting a feel of what's going on inside. And that makes you realize how powerful SQL is. Okay, let's print the original query here again. Now in our data set, you will see that some values for studio are blank. And I want to print all those movies which doesn't have studio. This could happen because of data collection error. We have some issues in the database. This is perfectly fine. You will always see real databases having null values, data quality issues, and so on. And as a data analyst, you might want to figure out which movies have studio set to empty. And the empty string, you can set it by double quote. And see, I have 3 movies for which I don't have any studios. I want to share a quick tip on how you can save these queries for your future reference. First of all, you can have multiple queries in this same SQL editor and you can execute them one by one by highlighting them with your left mouse click. After that, if you want to save these queries for future reference, you click on the save icon. You can just say SQL course, just give some name, right? This is chapter 2, chapter 3, whatever. And you save it. And when you save it, next time, let's say I want to open it. Let's say I closed it. I closed everything. Next time when you want to open it, you can just go to MySQL Workbench, click on this icon and go to that folder where you saved it and see queries chapter, SQL course chapter 2. This was the file we saved last time. And this way you can retrieve those queries and you can again select and execute that. You can follow this guideline throughout the course. Whatever you want to save, you can save it in .sql file, or you can create a Google Sheet document and just kind of keep your notes there. So that was a quick tutorial on how you can do text query using SQL. Throughout the course, you are going to see a lot of exercises. So folks, make sure you work on exercises, because learning SQL is like learning cooking. If you just watch 10 videos on YouTube where people are making paneer tikka masala, you're not going to learn paneer tikka masala, right? You have to take the pan, cut paneer cubes and start trying it out. That is the only way you can learn cooking. Similarly, see, you want to build this bright future as a data analyst, data scientist, you have to practice, and you can see SQL is actually not hard. All right. So I wish you all the best. Work on the exercises. I will see in the next video where we'll cover numeric queries.